This is the Pentagon. It's one of the largest office buildings in the world, with more than 17 miles of hallways and space for over 25,000 military and civilian personnel. And China is planning to build this, but 10 times bigger. It all began when satellite images revealed strange roads and tunnels being constructed southwest of Beijing. This is the story of China's upcoming military city. China has a long history of building massive underground and hidden military projects designed for survivability and secrecy. It began in the Cold War with the underground Great Wall, a vast tunnel network used to hide missiles and move equipment beneath mountains. China later built deep command centers like the Western Hills facility, designed to protect leadership during a nuclear strike. In recent decades, China expanded underground air bases, missile silo fields, and high-altitude bunkers along the Tibetan Plateau. Many major cities were also built with civil defense tunnels, capable of moving vehicles during emergencies. That brings us to late 2024, when the construction began quietly. There was practically zero announcements and hints from Chinese media. We only had a handful of satellite analysts scanning imagery as routine. The same people who'd spend their days staring at mountains, farmland, and cities from hundreds of miles above the Earth. At first, nothing seemed unusual. The area southwest of Beijing looked like any other remote Chinese valley. Fields, small villages, and rolling hills. Then the analysts noticed a new road, straight and unnatural, and too perfect to be civilian. So they zoomed in, and what they saw shocked them. Within weeks, new imagery showed the mountain's shape changing with more roads, tunnels, and layout of the unknown facility. Articles and news outlets began reporting once the images were brought to media, and as more data came in, mapping specialists started comparing the site to known military facilities around the world. The measurements matched hardened bunker designs used for nuclear command centers. The shadows cast by the tunnels suggested they were deep, not shallow. The Financial Times broke the story, confirming through former US defense officials that the site was likely a wartime national command center, designed to be China's most fortified military headquarters. By early February 2025, a massive rectangular complex appeared at the center of the site, its footprint alone extending more than a kilometer across. Unlike typical buildings, this structure showed deep shadows on every edge, suggesting extreme vertical height and possibly reinforced concrete cores. The internal layout resembled a city grid, with block-like structures arranged as if forming an inner citadel. What had previously been simple dirt access paths evolved into a hardened security ring, something unmistakably military. New controlled entry points appeared at multiple locations around the complex, each fitted with reinforced gate structures, vehicle barriers, and wide paved lanes suitable for heavy transport. Satellite images also revealed rows of rectangular buildings positioned along the perimeter, laid out in a standardized military grid. Many analysts identified these as likely barracks, guard posts, or rapid response readiness housing, given their proximity to the entrances and strategic vantage points overlooking the main construction zones. Even more telling was the appearance of internal fencing dividing the complex into zones, an arrangement commonly seen in secured military compounds to prevent unauthorized movement between sectors. These boundaries suggested that the facility was being prepared not just for construction workers, but for a permanent security presence. In April 2025, researchers measured the dimensions of the central square structure that was now fully visible in the imagery. They discovered it exceeded the footprint of the US Pentagon by more than tenfold. No known civilian project in China required anything remotely this size or depth, and the symmetry was characteristic of strategic military design rather than civilian planning, which was concluded. The speed of construction stunned even seasoned observers. Entire building shells that hadn't existed in satellite frames from just weeks earlier were suddenly in place. Road networks had expanded outward in every direction. New towers, cranes, and excavated sections appeared with each new image. Defense analysts remarked that the pace of development resembled emergency-level mobilization. Although no government issued a formal statement, several former US defense and intelligence personnel confirmed to journalists that the site aligned closely with what they would expect from a modern wartime national command center. By the second half of 2025, The first major shift came when analysts identified heat blooms on newly captured infrared satellite footage. These signatures were not present in images from just a few months earlier. They indicated that portions of the underground facility had power, ventilation, and climate systems running. Systems that would only be activated once interior chambers were sealed and operational. After that, at least 2 new relay towers, both positioned at elevated points overlooking the complex, showed up in mid-year imagery. Their alignment suggested they were not temporary construction antennas, but part of an integrated communications system, possibly linking the site to larger PLA command networks across central China. By the end of 2025, it became clear that the Western Hills megastructure had crossed into a new phase, one the earlier satellite images had given no hint of. Heat signatures, communication arrays, military logistics traffic, internal access routes, expanded security zones, and newly installed infrastructure all pointed toward the same conclusion. The facility was no longer just being built. It was being prepared for its real purpose, whatever that may be. The global response to the Western Hills megastructure was immediate and unusually unified. Within days of the Financial Times report, intelligence analysts across the United States, Europe, Taiwan, Japan, and Australia began issuing their own assessments. None could say with certainty what the facility was intended for, but every analysis agreed on one point. China was building something unprecedented. In Washington, the tone was measured but unmistakably concerned. Defense officials, speaking off record, described the installation as strategic in nature and clearly not civilian. Think tanks in the United States, including CSIS and the Jamestown Foundation, began publishing papers dissecting satellite images and matching the patterns of construction to known, hardened command facilities. Meanwhile, in Europe, NATO analysts privately warned that the complexity of the project suggested long-term preparation for a high-end conflict. Even China's neighbours, like Taiwan and Australia, relative intelligence agencies noted that China's pattern of underground construction had accelerated over the previous 3 years, and that this new complex represented the most significant development yet. As far as China's acknowledgement, nobody has offered almost any direct explanation for the Western Hills facility. There has been no press conference, no public briefings, and no official acknowledgement. When asked, Foreign Ministry spokespersons simply repeated familiar lines about construction activities and development projects, implying there was nothing unusual happening in the mountains. All in all, the construction of China's bunker will be a story told only by time, because time will tell what happens in the next upcoming years when it comes to China's military revolution.